all the things that they need to do to be prepared to play. And every now and then, I need to go back to basics too. I'm sure you find yourself doing that as well. As a matter of fact, whenever I go play golf, I'm not going to just go and play. I'm going to warm up, hit a bucket of balls, do something like that, so that I can get into the swing of things, so that I can be prepared to play. And the basics give us an introduction to what is essential. And if we don't do the very essential things, we're not going to be having good outcomes at the end of things. So going back to basics is a very important element of maturity. Being able to say, I need to practice this a little more. I need to practice this again. I need to go over this and not forget this. Well, I had a little bit of that this week. Because there's a lot of things changing with PCA, and there's a lot of, and when there's a lot of transition, there's also anxiety and fear. And I was feeling fearful. And then I had a couple of things, you know, my daughter's had some facial surgery because she has a tumor, and I was feeling, you know, isolated in a sense because Dorothy wasn't around for me to talk to, and so I just began to feel fearful. And then I got into a little fender bender to top it off. I got home and I'm going, ah, and I began to feel fear all over the place. You know how fear is? It's one of those things that sneaks up on you. And it does. You don't even know you're fearful until you go, I took my prayer time and I said, I'm fearful. And I thought, what am I going to do about that? And the Lord kind of gave me the insight. Go back to basics. See, you're never too old to go back to basics. You're never so far along on the spiritual path that I had to remember that basics are important. And one of the basic things to deal with fear is to be thankful.
That's right.
And when I started thanking God, I noticed that fear and thankfulness cannot exist together. We're either thankful or we're fearful.
Amen.
And the fear comes because the enemy wants us to live in the anxiety of the world that is oftentimes pressed upon us and that we think we do something about it. But you know what? Thankfulness puts us in a different paradigm. It puts us in thanking God for everything. And pretty soon, we don't have any room in our heart for fear because what happens is trust takes its place. Isn't that interesting? It's so important what we say in here. And what comes out of here is oftentimes what we're doing in here, right? And the attitudes that we have oftentimes are the things that we need to change so that we can make a difference and come to a realization about what is really important. Once we have thankful hearts, then we begin to see the litany of all the things that happen, that even God was protecting us through them. That maybe we don't always understand everything right now. Maybe it's not the way we want it to be right now, but with a thankful heart, we can place whatever anxiety we have in God's care. And I had forgotten that. I was thinking it was up to me. I've got to solve this. I've got to fix this. I've got to make this right. No. No. It's up to the Lord. Now, it's not to say we don't have personal responsibility for changing our behavior when it needs to be changed. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that oftentimes what happens is fear becomes a perpetuating self-prophecy. The things we fear happen. Did you notice that? Yeah, because when you're living in fear, you're living in a world that's a little bit askew from what God's plan for you and me is. He wants us to be thankful all the time. He wants us to put on a thankful heart. So that even though things may be changing around us, and we feel a sense of, I'm not in control, I can recognize that there's somebody who is, who loves me, who cares for me. And when I start thanking Him, all the darkness moves away. All the apprehension